Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Cam Jennings coming at you on behalf of EpicConversions.com. Hope you guys are doing amazing today on this fine Friday afternoon. Obviously, quick weather report. It is snowing out here. I'm getting a walk in, and it's all good. Probably, I don't know, man. Probably about 23, 24 degrees out here. But anyways, just getting a walk in spite of the weather. Feels good to get out, get active. So what are we talking about today? Well, today I want to give you a lesson from this movie I just watched. It's called Brightwood. Now, I don't know if you've seen this movie, but let me do it like this so that I don't spoil it for people who want to watch it. I'm going to pull a lesson out of it, but I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen it yet. First of all, Brightwood is a kind of horror movie, kind of time travel, sci-fi movie. And if you want to watch it, you don't want to listen to this podcast. You better just skedaddle. Come back to this episode after you've seen the movie, because after this point right here, I'm not going to worry about spoilers. All right, are they all gone? All right, good. So Brightwood, we're going to pull a couple of marketing lessons out of this thing. All right, Brightwood is an independent movie. It doesn't have like some kind of big sci-fi budget or anything like that, which I think is cool. They did a lot with a little. Pretty much looked to me like all practical special effects. Not a lot of special effects at all, really. It's about this couple who's on the brink of getting a divorce, but they're like at the very least hitting a very, very rocky patch in their marriage. And anyway, they're going for a jog together, and they get stuck in like this time loop in this like trail around the lake or around this pond. For some reason they can't get out of it. Like they just keep on, they can't find the trail to get away from the lake. It's like they just got a trail that goes around the lake. It's like the trail they came in on, somehow it's gone. So, they try going through the woods, and of course they end up right back at the lake. They're just in this time loop. They just can't get out of it. So they start encountering other versions of themselves, It's really weird. And it's always presented in a really eerie, creepy way. But you start to see like different versions of them, older versions of them, rougher versions of them, You start to wonder, like, how long have these two people been here at this lake, Anyways, my wife is telling me she's read some reviews about this movie. I didn't read any reviews about the movie. I don't care what people think. But she was telling me a lot of people didn't like the movie. Well, I think I know why people didn't like this movie. And it has nothing to do with, special effects or, feeling like it was recorded on your grandma's camcorder or something. It had nothing to do with any of that. I think if people didn't like Brightwood, and if Brightwood wasn't memorable, it's for one simple reason. Brightwood didn't nail the ending. Right? Brightwood did not nail the ending. Again, don't get mad at me. I told you there's going to be spoilers here. At the end of the movie ends with like an old beat up version of this couple sitting on a rock eating earlier versions of themselves. So they're like basically cannibalizing, And maybe you could say, well, that's an allegory for, being stuck in a dead-end marriage and not moving on. So as you two are stuck together, you're just kind of like feeding on each other. It's not healthy, you're just eating yourselves, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, maybe, whatever. Maybe that's what the allegory is, who knows, But what I'm saying is, that movie, now be patient, because in a minute I'm going to swing this over to marketing, all right? How you can apply this to your online business. But ultimately, it doesn't matter what it's an allegory of. It doesn't matter how clever the director or the writer was trying to be. If you can't, if you can't swing it around back to your target audience with a point, and in my opinion, with a good ending, then all is lost. I'm telling you, it's proven. People do not like these stupid edgelord endings where the hero doesn't get out alive, everybody dies, nobody gets resolved, nothing good happens, the movie just goes downhill, downhill, downhill. People don't like movies like that, man. I mean, you might be able to name a few, but I guarantee for every stupid edgelord movie that you can name like that, I guarantee you, it's got tons of people who say oh yeah, that movie's great, it was really well done, but they don't watch it. They don't watch it because it's not fun, it's not entertaining, and they don't care. And people don't like movies with bad endings, right? That's the bottom line. People are taking a couple hours out of their day to watch your dumb movie. It's entertainment for them. They want to get something out of it. And generally what they want to get out of it is not some kind of message, but primarily they want to get some entertainment value out of it. Secondarily, if they are entertained, maybe they'll try to pull something greater out of it. But a lot of times people don't like that message shoved down their throat. A lot of times people like to pull their own messages out of entertaining movies. They don't like to pull entertainment out of messaging movies. That's just the way it is. So that's Brightwood. I would disagree with all those people who give it a bad review. I think it's a pretty cool movie. I think they could have fixed the whole movie with just a good ending. Two things. One, explain the time loop. How come you never explain the time loop? We don't know if it's some kind of lost artifact alien technology, or some kind of kind of a Christian thing. Is it a religious thing? Is God putting them in a time loop to teach them a message? What is this? What's the time loop? It's never explained. Is it supernatural? Is it alien? What is it? You don't explain it. So there's no real true resolution to that part of it, and that's a big part of the movie, so that takes away from the movie. And the second part is, it doesn't have a happy ending. I mean, these two characters who we've been dealing with the whole movie, them sitting on a rock, cannibalizing each other, earlier versions of themselves, is not a happy ending. That's not a good ending. That's a stupid ending, And they could have fixed that ending just by having two younger versions of themselves come out of nowhere, beat up the two older versions of themselves, and then boom, find a path out of that place. And then somehow resolve the time loop. Why was that even a thing? That would have fixed the movie, in my opinion. But, alas, it didn't happen. Now, how does that swing over to your marketing in your online business? Well, in my opinion, when you do courses, when you do products, when you put things out there for sale, number one, you also need a point to what you're doing. A defined point. What is the true purpose of this thing you're putting out? What's its primary purpose? What's its secondary purpose? I'll tell you what, information products and products in general that you put out there aren't that different than movies. Yeah, I think the primary purpose is to educate, but there is a secondary purpose to entertain. So I think you need to try to, have a point. You need to try to, come to terms and resolve those two goals, no matter what. A little bit of entertainment, some education, Both of those things need to be resolved if you want a good information product. The second thing I would say is that you need the movie equivalent of a good ending. Don't leave it on some kind of dumb ending that doesn't create resolution, right? There has to be resolution. I mean, how do you get something like that with an information product? How do you get something like that with, a product that you would sell or a book or whatever? Like, in my opinion, you spend the majority of the content solving a problem. But at the end of it, you need to wrap it up correctly, right? And the way I do it is kind of reiterate everything we just learned, but also I want to give them an option for what's next, right? Because people are always asking that question, what comes next? Now what do I do? Where do I begin? What do I do? Well, after someone finishes your product, there's always going to be a question that's asked in their mind, now what do I read? Now what do I do? It's always there. So I think a really great way to create resolution with your products is to answer that question, what's next, right? And not only is this good for your customers, but it's also good for you because it will extend the life of your customer and it will create more sales for you. But anyways, just my thoughts on the movie I just watched today, Brightwood. It was a cool movie, but it was completely ruined by the ending. And, I wouldn't watch it again because the ending sucked. I could name a bunch of other movies that are like that, where the ending just ruins the movie. But anyways, whatever. Hope that's helpful to you. If any of this message resonates with you today, be sure to get over to epicconversions.com, sign up for my free newsletter. I like to send out emails to my list 3 to 6 times a week. I like to think I put my best free content out by email. So again, if this video resonated with you, be sure to get over there and check it out. And that's all I got, man. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you next time. Peace now.